use Claude. And while it may not be the best way to use it, but yeah, this is so far like from my experience, what I've learned. And we will together in this session try to find out, the best ways to like make the most out of, the resources that we have, especially like, Claude, a Claude subscription. So the first thing that we see when we open the desktop app is this page. It's the chat page, and it's just like ChatGPT. No major differences here. Maybe a couple of features here and there, but yeah, largely this is exactly like Gemini or ChatGPT. Nothing truly special here. The only thing is it has like a bunch of integrations. There's a research mode, like Gemini has deep research, where it will actually go into like 100 different websites before it gives you an answer. Yeah, and it's appropriate for just deeper research. And yeah, there's a bunch of models here. Opus unlocks only when you're on the Pro plan, at least the $20 plan, and which is the most capable model. And there's an extended mode, which is generally on for me because I want that extra context and extra intelligence. And yeah, there's some legacy models here as well. And yeah, there's a bunch of modes. I've integrated my Google Drive, so it sees my Google Docs as well. If ever, so Jojo cheese like what all other things that are sort of repeatable. Maybe I have some kind of prompt or like a design system written somewhere. I can just import that, and that becomes a part of the context, so that I don't have to copy and paste and give context again and again. It just picks this up. And there's a thing called styles here, which is based on the kind of thing that I'm writing. Maybe I'm writing a resume today, a proposal or cover letter today, or a LinkedIn post, and I may have different styles for different things. So there are a couple of options here, and there's also an option to create my own style. And when I create a custom style, if I want like my Claude to write like me, what I can do is I can go back to my old blogs and my old WhatsApp messages and Slack messages, put it all together, paste it here, and then ask it to learn from my style. So where I find this very useful is, once upon a time, I had a bunch of like thousands of messages written by me on WhatsApp. I cleaned that data up. I had a bunch of blogs that I had handwritten, a bunch of Slack messages, everything that is written by me or typed by me at some point in my life. I put it all together and I created a custom style. And actually, it was very impressive. Like this picked up my style really well. It made the same grammatical mistakes as me. It made the same spelling mistakes as me, and the writing seemed very natural, like exactly like how I sound or how I would write. So that's something that's very impressive. And in this like AI slop era, if you want to differentiate, you want to create your own custom style. Only then you like your writing would be like read. Otherwise, if it looks like just another slop, our mind these days is like so good at pattern recognition. As soon as it detects that this is slop, I just might as well not read it, just skip through it. Okay, so yeah, this is useful, the style thing. And a bunch of other modes. Learn, I think this is now also added to Gemini. And yeah, this is more to do with prompting, I think. Yeah, pretty much. And there's a bunch of things that you can do, like generate PDFs, generate slides, etc. And I have a couple of like ways to show. So this was the first section. There's a project section. Now projects, how that's useful is, if there's a set of things that I do for every single person or every single repeatable thing, that I start a new conversation, then I upload this, then I add this prompt, then I do this, and then only some part of it changes, then it makes sense to create a project out of it. In Gemini, the equivalent of this is a gem, right? And I think in ChatGPT also there's a thing called projects. And what I've done here is, if I'm talking to 3 clients, there's Terry, there's Angela, and there's like someone else. So what I can do is I can create a project, and all the context that Angela has shared with me so far could be her product document, could be my WhatsApp chat with her, could be my meeting. Like Arnav, the other day we had a meeting with Jay. I had a full recording of that meeting, and I copied all the transcript, the script of that video, where I was saying something, then you were saying something, then Jay was saying something. All of those dialogues, I put it all together, and based on that meeting, see. So this was the Fathom recording. So this is with a different client. But yeah, this is our 1 hour long conversation. I put it and I said that give me a list of action items based on this meeting notes. Okay. And it actually did an excellent job of giving me 10 or 15 bullet points that we need to work on next. That I need to schedule this, I need to set this page up, I need to fix the domain, I need to check if emails are getting delivered or not, test the latest models, everything that we discussed. That's all put together here. So one of the things is one of my calls with Angela. I've also put that in that project. And yeah, just generally, like as you know, LLMs, the better you are at providing and describing what you want to do and provide as much context as you want, the better the results. And in the past, there used to be a case where the context window used to get full. Maybe I gave it too much to handle. But these days, with the extended thinking and the extended models, yeah, no matter how much text you put in, like it's generally like better for results. And now once this project is created and once the memory and the instructions are set, then you can just keep starting new conversations here and in parallel, like work on multiple things for the same person, right? For example, in this case, I want to know how do I help me prepare a roadmap based on everything that I've described so far, or how can I, how do I get started? What should be my next set of steps? And there could be a parallel conversation. So that you can run multiple conversations. You can even start have this set of all the context and then keep starting multiple parallel agents, so that once one agent is working on something, you can spin up another task and co-work, etc. So this is one thing that I use very often. And another good example of this is I need to write a lot of cover letters and proposals for clients, right? So what I've done is I've written everything about me, what I am, who I am, what's my preference, what's my expertise, what is the kind of work that I've done before, all our Axentia's past projects, Vibe Audit's past projects. I've put in all of those things together, and it knows everything about me. And now all I need to do is instructions are in place. Every time there is a new project request or a new proposal from a client, I just start a new conversation here. And yeah, and I just, for example, let me paste a demo project here. Let's say there is someone who wants to integrate OpenClaw. Okay. And this is their job description, that I want to install OpenClaw and this is what I'm looking for. And all the companies like Agentia, like Axentia can come in and apply to that job. So all I need to do is just copy and paste the job description. Yeah, the gig description, the project that they want to give us, everything about the project. If they have some kind of PDF where they've described what exactly should be the deliverables, what are other things, just paste it in here, go, and it has all the history. It has access to all my websites. It has, all that context, and all it will do is just, it knows me, it knows the client now, it knows the project, it knows my projects. It will find that, hey, I've done this before, I can do this for you, and I've done this and this. This is my past history, this is my portfolio, and yeah, I'm looking forward to. And it even wrote it in my style that it looks like a message that I have manually written and not, copy paste from ChatGPT. I've also instructed to write it in all small case so that it looks like I've typed this. And yeah, it also takes a few examples that, I've done this before, and I've had a good success rate in the past working with projects like this. And it adds all of that because it has all the context. So to take the most out of these, you need to have, and you can also see all the history of, of your project related conversations. So projects are nothing but, like predefined system prompts and some instructions and files and websites for reference. And yeah, so far everything clear. Like I'm sure like a lot of this, what I described, you may already know, but yeah, it's anything new that you guys learned here?
So जो context window है भैया, so it's pretty useful, वो use कर सकता है, and the styles as well, क्योंकि it's pretty complicated. हर बार हमें instruction देना पड़ता है LLMs को, जब pro plan नहीं रहता है, so that is useful.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So that's the first part. Artifacts is nothing but whatever I generate. So there's a bunch of templates here as a good starting point, and then I can select a template for as an inspiration, and then customize it or add a prompt, and then get something similar generated. Yeah, it's a writing assistant. Bunch of templates and language learning tutor, etc. And I can also see my artifacts, and it's just the stuff that I have asked it to generate. Okay. Another interesting way that I've personally found to be helpful is this. So it's taking a couple of seconds to load. Let's close this. Okay. So what I did here was I was exploring like some like flat, and I had a floor plan of that flat, and at that point we were just exploring whether we want to take this or not and what the interior would look like. Okay. And normally for something like this, you would need an architect or you would need an interior designer to figure out, right? What should be the colors, what should be the paint in the house, what kind of flooring, what kind of ceiling, what kind of cupboards, what kind of beds, dining table, etc., sofa, couch, etc. So here what I'm doing is I just gave it a floor plan. I described what the apartment is and what all rooms are there and who's going to live where. Just like simple prompting. And yeah, it was able to come up with a very good ideas, right? Like normally this would come from an architect who would charge like a bunch of money. But if I know what I want, I can also get it custom made by a carpenter and not need an agency or a architect in the middle. I can be an architect myself. I can customize things as long as I have the right people and the right team. I can get it all made by myself. That was the intention with this. Whether this works out or not, that's for later. But what I really liked is just a bunch of prompting, and it gave me a JSX made a website. It built this website from scratch, just a bunch of prompting. And if you look at the website, if you look at the website, this is actually the old one. Yeah, so it, based on the limited information it had on the square foot and how big or small the room is, it had so many good suggestions. Like, the one of the bedrooms should have these colors, should have this bed, this size bed, 5 by 6 feet. It should have these kind of night lamps. It should have this kind of wardrobe, this kind of lights. This is the budget that you should be looking at. These are the exact shops where you can buy this furniture, etc., etc. And it did it for every single room, for the living room, for kitchen and dining, utility. It gave me a color palette. It gave me a design system. It gave me some inspiration. And in the next page, it even gave me links to buy from where to buy all this stuff. And internally, what it's doing is just writing HTML and React and all that code, but in a visual way. And if I have and extract the right prompts from here, I can even upload a photo of an empty room and visualize how it may look like with furniture, if I have the right prompts. That's how good Gemini and Nano Banana is. I mean, this Claude has a limitation that it doesn't have a very good image generator, but it's very good at generating aesthetic websites like this. So yeah, this is another use case which I personally found to be very cool. So this was enough about chat. Chat has other bunch of interesting features as well. I don't want to go in too much depth, but yeah, this is another way. So I like how Anthropic and the Claude team in general, their design sense and their design system and the aesthetics. So what I did was I said, go to Claude, go to Anthropic, go to their blogs, understand all their content and PDF, and give me a design system. What I mean by a design system is just tell me what colors do they use, what kind of fonts do they use, what exactly does their design system look like, and it generated this design system page. This has everything about them. Anthropic Claude, the design system, content style, the brand philosophy, uh, what they're going for, the brand personality, the colors that they use. You would see a lot of blacks and whites and gray. The primary accent is red, slightly red color. The secondary is blue. Third is green, sage green. It gave me the exact font that they use, the principles, and everything about their brand philosophy. And now I can just download this. I can put this on my Google Drive. And the next time I'm asking it to generate slides or generate a website, I can just say, hey, please go and refer to Anthropic's design system PDF, because that has a lot of information about the brand identity and personality. And now generate something for me. Now generate a blog page for me, or now generate a website for my new product in Axentia, which I'm going to put on axentia.in/whatever. Or now generate me slides for this client that I'm trying to pitch. And yeah, it will do a very good job now. Like earlier, it may have generated, very like not so good looking slides, but if I know what I want and if I'm providing the right references, yeah, it will do an excellent job. Okay, so this is another good way of how I use Claude. Secondly, coming to Cowork is actually very interesting. So Cowork actually, it branched out from Claude Code. So Claude Code is something that got popular first, and it gained a lot of traction. It's exactly like your cursor agent or your, any autonomous. I'm sure Google Anti-Gravity also has something similar, where this is just another chat. But the starting point here is you need to first connect your GitHub here, and then this has access to all my repositories. For example, I'm working on We're Not Really Strangers. I can just connect that repository. It will on its own, on its cloud, clone my repository and do whatever I ask it to do. For example, in the past, I have connected our Axentia website as the starting point, main branch of that. And this is all running in cloud, by the way. It's not cloning the website on my local machine. And it clones it. And I gave it a bunch of tasks. And it also not just fixed the task, it also gave me a PR. And when I click on it, you can review the PR here. And this was committed. If you look at the commits, all committed by Claude independently without my intervention. And it gave me a final PR. I just had to review it. It even gave me review notes that what I should look for. These are all the files that it changed. There were some problems with our favicon. It generated a proper favicon for us. It downloaded the right Python libraries that it needed to crop the image, to generate the image, to transform the image, etc. And it did all of this without me having to even clone the website or open a code editor. Right? I was just giving it instructions in English language here, in simple English. And at the end of it, it gave me a link. It also asked me to now go merge it. After merging, it also saw my deployment. It went there, it browsed my website, and it even gave me like notes that, okay, this is all the changes are now successfully made. You can go to this website. I see that you've added a new page. You can go to your search console and now index this new page so that the new favicon starts to appear on Google search, etc., etc. It did a bunch of impressive things. And not just this, like I can start a new conversation and I can have multiple Claude Code sessions running in parallel. So I can give here one task here. Okay, now move on to Whiteboard's repository, give one task there. Now move on to Tom Egan's project, give one task there. Of course, like to blindly rely on this is not like the best strategy. But sometimes there's some like small tasks which is it's fairly simple and not like a lot of intelligence that you're looking for. You can just simply give it the access and it will solve the task for you, and it will create a PR that you can just review and merge directly. So this is the review PR button. And I can see, Arnav, you've raised your hand. Let me just finish this part and then I'll come to you. So this is the impressive part, no doubt about it. And because we're using Opus, the intelligence is there and 99% accuracy. Like there has never been a case so far where I gave it some task and it did something that created a bug or that created a problem. So good accuracy. I can trust this, and it creates a PR, so I can get to even review the code before things go live. Now this is not the most impressive part here still. Now this desktop app, and they have a mobile app for my phone. which I've downloaded, which also has Claude Code, by the way. So the even more impressive part here is that I did all of this. I reviewed the PR, everything, all from my mobile phone. I didn't touch my laptop even once. And this is the first time ever in my career so far where I've made a code change, I've gotten approved, gotten it live without having to touch my laptop, all from my phone while I was traveling in a metro or in a bus. So that's the most impressive part here, that how accessible this is. And I may be on the move, I may be having a couple of tasks, I may be having a meeting. Before going to the meeting, I give it a bunch of tasks. By the time I'm back, I have a plan ready and I just have to review. And even the levels guy on Twitter, he has like 10 or 20 Claude Code instances running in parallel, and he has a bunch of Markdown files with all the to-do list sort of a thing. And his Claude Code and all his infrastructure is smart enough to see that these are the 20 items that we need to do today, and you take this, I'll take this, I'll take this, and all of this is autonomous. And every night when he goes to sleep and next day he wakes up to a bunch of PRs that he needs to review. And he was saying that these days my to-do list or my personal notepad is always empty, because as soon as I have an idea, within 15 minutes or within 30 minutes, all of it is already done and ready. So it's a very interesting time that we're living in, and need to leverage all of this and be as productive as we can. I think there's definitely potential for all of us to be 10x engineers or 100x engineers. It's just a matter of getting familiar with these tools and using them to their full potential. So yeah, now Arnav, you can ask a question.
Yeah, so we were using Greptile use कर रहा था ना for the reviews. So I think Claude can review the code for us, right?
Yes, it can.
Okay. So there is an option of view PR. So does it require us to approve it there, or it will review it and also merge it there?
In this case, it expects us to review and merge it ourselves.
Okay.
But we can give it, I believe we can just prompt it to, not ask us to review and directly merge to main. It has all that access.
Okay. Because it can reduce the time for merging, because we have to review everything. If we rely on Claude for that, it will reduce the time of shipping.
Yeah, but if we are asking Claude to write the code and also to review the code.
No, I'm not expecting to write it a code. We can write it by ourselves and it is just reviewing it.
Okay, for that, there's a bunch of tools. There's a tool called Code Rabbit, which you can simply just add, and whatever commits that we add to a PR, at the end of every commit, it will give some review commits and it will review your code. So these solutions already exist. But yeah, you're right. Claude can also do the same thing for you. If you tag Claude in a PR and comment it and ask it to review at the current position, I'm sure it will write a good review for you.
Okay.
So even if if you want, you can talk to Akash about this. He had Code Rabbit set up on one of our projects, and I'm sure he can help you get this part done. But yeah, what you're describing is already there. It exists, and yeah, it's very useful.
Actually, I just raised the PR and he is reviewing it right now. So what time lay about, Sarah? So maybe we can use it there. We can use Claude there.
Sure, yeah. But I would say that having one human layer still makes sense. Either we use AI to write the code and then review it ourselves, or write it ourselves and then ask AI to review it. That way we get the best of both our expertise as well as the AI's expertise. But if we're fully relying on one system, like fully AI, where AI is writing and AI is reviewing, or humans are writing, humans are reviewing, then we don't get to leverage both the powers. And there may be some knowledge gaps in our understanding or the AI's understanding. So we get the best of both worlds. And yeah, that's what the intention is with this. I'm happy with both the approaches, whatever is comfortable and whatever leads to lesser bugs and more higher code quality. So yeah, that option is always open.
Okay. I also had one more question. When we are giving it a context like repo access there, where we are giving access of documents through Google Cloud, Drive. So वहाँ पे tokens वो ज़्यादा use करेगा and limit will be reached earlier.
Yeah. So in that case, what I do is either I summarize a doc if the doc is too large, or I just pick up the main parts which are important for my questions and ignore the rest, or I don't connect it at all. If I think that, this is too much context and because a trade-off with LLMs is if the context is too large, the response that you get by the time the LLM tries to respond to your question, already 90-95% of the context is taken away. So the response quality drops if the context is too much. So you need to find a good balance between giving it enough context and too much context is bad, and too less context is also bad because the quality is not there in the answer. So find a good middle ground so that it has just enough knowledge, but also at the same time just enough context window left for it to answer your question. So when we connect Google Drive, we're not essentially giving it access to our entire Google Drive, just a bunch of files, only what's necessary.
Okay.
And we are connecting only that file in that particular question. So when I do this, I'm actually not connecting like a folder, just one single prompt, like Axentia prompt. And I can even review it. This is as good as them downloading the doc and then uploading it there inside Claude. Okay, so this was code. I hope everything's clear here. For me, the most impressive part was not only it was able to write the code. I was able to do all of this while being on the move or while being in the gym. And I was completing one set, then giving it a task, then going back to exercising, then coming back after 5 minutes, giving it another task. So what a crazy world to live in, right? Like 5 years ago, if someone told me that this is possible, I would have, been not believed it. But yeah, this is the new world. And yeah, of course, we do not expect everyone to be working all the time of the day, and good balance of, like personal life and social life and work should be there. But yeah, cool thing to have, right? Like whether you're giving it, delegating it some tasks and then going back to whatever you're doing. Maybe you're working on other tasks, maybe you're in the focus mode. So it's a good for research, good for, figuring out smaller tasks. So this is Claude Code. So this is directed more towards, coding and writing code. Now, what the Anthropic team realized at some point is, if this can do code, I'm sure the LLM is capable of doing a lot more than just code. So that's when they came up with Cowork. With Cowork, which is the third mode here, their plan was to have all the capabilities and the powers of Claude Code. And in fact, the base for both of Cowork and Code is the same, but this is directed towards more non-technical tasks and non-coding tasks. Like, for example, this connects with your local machine. So when I give it access to a certain folder, it actually opens my file explorer, right? My computer and all the files that I have on my machine. And like how we open VS Code or Cursor in a specific folder, we can open Cowork in a specific folder. Like there, I have an Axentia folder here. Inside that, I may have blog folder here, or I may have a finances folder here, which has, all the finance related stuff, or all our company invoices or expenses for the month, right? All the bills that we are paying, whether it's Cursor subscription or Gemini or Vercel or Slack, or all the subscriptions that we are paying for, or just bunch of Excel files, PDF files, PowerPoint presentations. It's good with all of this because Claude and Anthropic team has a good partnership with the Microsoft Office ecosystem. So it's very good at working with Excel and files like that. So if I open this folder, now what I can do is it, of course, asks for your permission to read and write in that folder. You allow. Now it has full access to that folder. It can read all the files. It can write 2 files. It can create new files. It can do all the CRUD operations. Now you can give it tasks. So in the past, I can give you a few examples of how I've used this. I started with one folder. It had a bunch of zip files and files of all kinds, PDFs, some income tax returns, etc., etc., like tens of files, right? And I gave it that, I want to share some stuff with my accountant. Can you clean this up and put it all in an Excel file? Or can you clean this up and bring this to a position where, it's ready to be shared with the client or with the accountant? And it did all the job of, a chartered accountant, and it gave me a final Excel sheet. So maybe that conversation is still, like, I lost that conversation. Here's another example. I was talking to a client, Angela. She had given me a zip file of, tens of files of her company data and her revenue. And she had also given me like some scripts to work with, some README files, some PDFs, etc. And whenever we give it a folder that has all these different kinds of files, Claude has skills, as you guys are familiar. So there is this thing called skills. So skills is nothing but extending the capabilities of Claude. So if I'm dealing with a lot of PDFs, as you guys know, it's very hard to edit and delete and merge and do stuff on a PDF. So there's a PDF skill for that. Whenever it realizes that I need Excel skill, it just downloads that from the Claude marketplace. And now it is suddenly very good at understanding Excel. Okay. And now it was able to read all the documents. It was able to write a Python script for me that I can run to in future generate, more reports. And yeah, this is just for everything that you would want Claude Code to do, but with non-technical stuff, slides and Excel and all of that. And this is also something that I personally love, right? If I have like hundreds of invoices and PDFs and Excel files, I can just dump it all in one folder. I can give it, please give me a report for this year of, how much money I spent this year, how much money I earned this year, how much, this, how much that, what is the monthly trend? Are we growing? Are we declining? What are things we can do? So these are some common ways to use co-work. And in the past, somebody would actually sit down and prepare slides or prepare Google Sheets and manually enter all the Excel formula and all of that. But this is so good that, it can do it all autonomously. Yeah, please go ahead, Abhishek. You have a question.
Yes, but in recent update, we can do the same from our mobile also, right?
I am not sure. Yeah, I'll come back to, I think you're talking about dispatch. So yeah, you are right. I'll come to that. Any other question?
No.
Okay. Yes, I'm coming to that immediately after this. So this is how you would use it, and I personally love it. I've used it for a bunch of things. It's very good with office related stuff, right? And there's an ideas section, creating presentations, reading your calendar, all the OpenClaw stuff that we expect OpenClaw to do. A lot of those features have come inside Claude within the $20 subscription. So I don't know how even useful OpenClaw is at this point because of how powerful this has become lately. And lastly, in Cowork, there's a brand new feature they've launched last week called Dispatch. Okay. And Dispatch is I think the closest thing to artificial general intelligence that we have in today's date. Dispatch is a good way for you to connect your phone with your laptop. And like how I can control Claude Code from my phone and create and start new conversations and create new tasks from there, new sessions. In Dispatch, I can do the same thing what I can do with Claude Code, but in co-work mode. And what makes this even more powerful is how well it integrates with your computer. And it can now not only do stuff in its own environment, it has full access to my laptop now. So it can move around my mouse. It can press keys on my keyboard. It can control my browser. It can log into my account. It can read my emails. It can read my WhatsApp messages by opening my WhatsApp. It can do all of these things, right? So that makes it, the most powerful. There was someone that I know that, from his phone, as you know, like we get a lot of applications for people who want to work with us, right? Either as interns or as full-time roles. And I at one point I had like 1,000 applications, 1,000 resumes in my hiring section. And I just don't have the time to go through all of that. See, every single day we get 3 or 4 of people like this who applied from our hiring page. Every single day, 3 or 4. And this is now a list of 1,000 resumes at least, if not more. Every month we get like at least 100 or more. If we've actively posted on LinkedIn, in the hundreds per day. But yeah, even when now these days we're not posting about any new openings, still we get all these people filling up. Anytime somebody fills up a hiring form, we get that this is the guy, this is where they're from, this is their GitHub, this is their resume. You click on the resume, and yeah, this is the college, projects, etc., everything about them. So at this point, this is the way it works. First of all, for security, you need to first download Claude app on your phone, Claude app on your desktop, and then connect those two together. Dispatch to work. And this makes sure that, let's say you have access to the same account, but your phone is not paired with my machine, then you would not be able to control my machine fully. So there is some pairing, one-time pairing that happens. After that, whenever I delegate something to dispatch from my phone, it will create a new task here, and it has full access to my machine, and it will have access to my keyboard and mouse, and it will keep the laptop awake. It will not let it go to screensaver mode, or it will not keep it will not let the laptop go in the sleep state, and it will browse my laptop like the way I browse it. Open browser, open WhatsApp, open this, open that. It can do everything. And the way it has access to your browser is with the help of a Chrome extension. So this is the Claude Chrome extension. You can use the Chrome extension independently, or whenever you give something to dispatch, it has full access to your browsers, like it through, I think, browse Chrome debugging mode or something like that. It has access to all your tabs on your browser, and it can even read and make changes. And let me show you an example of that. First, I'll obviously use it from the browser Chrome extension. And for this also, you need to be on a paid plan to use this feature. Okay. Now what I'll do is, there's 2 modes: ask before acting and ask without asking. Act without asking. And yeah, this is a bit more unhinged mode, but a bit risky because it has full access. It can do random stuff, right? It can hallucinate. It can message people on my behalf, and all sorts of things that can go wrong. So as a safety mode, we can set it to ask. So before acting or before doing anything major, it will ask for our permission. And I can say, I can give it tasks, any task that involves browsing. So I can say, can you read the hiring channel on my Slack and just review the last 5-6 candidates, and yeah, just help me evaluate who is best for a role at my company. And for all the others, I also want to write a good rejection email, and I don't want to sound rude, but yeah, write a respectful email to them. And if possible, you can also open my Gmail and write to them that unfortunately I cannot select them for this role at the moment, and all the openings are full, or something like that. So this was a very random task that I gave it. Like, it obviously needs to be more structured, but I'm just doing this so that I can show the capabilities of this system. And if there's something that Claude is not good at in terms of clicking or taking screenshots or just generally browsing, you can also teach it how to use a certain website. And there may be some points where there may be a bot detection or a captcha, and it may need some human intervention, but in all other cases, it does an excellent job. So now it has access to my browser. Now I'm just putting my mouse and the keyboard away, and now like Claude will take over. Yeah, as you can see, there's a highlight now, and this at the bottom says stop Claude. So this is a plan that it came up with. It needs access to 2 of the websites. One is app.slack.com and one is mail.google.com, because there is an element of rejection email. So it needs access to 2 of those tabs, and this is the approach that it's going to follow. I wish I could zoom into this, but I hope you can read the approach on the right side. And what it's doing 4 steps. One is read the hiring channel, evaluate, compare, draft respectful rejection emails, open Gmail and compose rejection emails, and then send it to them. Okay, I approve the plan. Now let's see what it does. So now it has access to my Slack page. Now I'm assuming the next step would be reading all the recent messages on this channel, on the hiring channel. Yeah, it's extracting text, HTML text from the page. It took a screenshot to understand, where it needs to click. Now it clicked. Now it can scroll down. It is scrolling up now, and it's reading all the last like 4 or 5 candidates. Yeah, scrolled up again. It's extracting all the data. Maybe the next step would be extracting all the resume links, PDFs, and then reading all the contents of a resume. Yeah, so it's extracting the text. I would assume that it would extract the GitHub and portfolio link as well, and maybe have a quick look at their portfolio too. Ideally, that should happen, that we give a good amount of weightage to their resume, their GitHub, their contributions, etc. And now it will help me with the decision. And while it's doing all of this, I can go to any tab I want. I can continue my work while it's doing its work. And this is almost like a HR person, right, on the team. This is like a human resource person is supposed to do. Like out of 100 applicants, filter out the top 10 and schedule an interview with them. Now, if it has access to my Gmail and calendar, it can also book calls with those people. If it has access to my WhatsApp, it can even, because the phone number is there in the application form, it can also send a WhatsApp message on my behalf to them that, hey, would you be open to an interview in 10 minutes? So are you guys getting a feel of AGI here? Like, this is general intelligence. What else do we want from an AI to do, right? Like, this is so much of time saved for us.
Yes.
And the even more amazing part is I can keep my laptop on all day and I can keep giving it these tasks from my phone while I'm traveling somewhere. And it will not let the laptop sleep. It will like work even when we are at night going to sleep, and give it a bunch of tasks and wake up to those tasks being done.
Yeah, यहाँ पे आपने extension में commands डाला है ना, so we can also do it from dispatch, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So dispatch and this Chrome extension and the desktop app and the mobile app are all linked to each other.
All linked. Okay.
Yeah, as long as you're on the same account and as long as you're at least on the $20 plan, all of these capabilities are there. But what I'm not sure of right now is if the Linux app or if the Windows app has all these features. I'm sure it would have 80-90% of all of this. Maybe 1 or 2 features they release first for Mac app and then for Windows. But sooner or later, all of this is going to be there anyway. And because this is there on Chrome, the Chrome extension would also be there. So yeah, I think most of these things would be there.
I think this dispatch is for Mac only for currently.
Okay, that's okay. Sooner or later, they're going to launch it anyway. The only downside of this is that it's a bit slow.
Okay.
Whereas if I were a human, I can just scroll all of this fast, put that all together, review a bunch of resume. This is taking a bit of time to browse. Sometimes, HTML doesn't have access, like it doesn't get a proper HTML access, or sometimes it would have a bot check or a Cloudflare bot detection or a captcha of some kind where it would get stuck. But regardless, this doing the job slow is still better than not getting the job done at all, right? So this is one of those things where you can give it a task and then go back to doing whatever you're doing. And yeah, just let this run. And even if it's slow, who cares, right? I'm not have to watch and like sit down with it. It's doing its thing. And whenever it's done, I anyway get a notification. So yeah, it's one of those things which these days saves me a lot of time. So yeah, I'll let this keep running, or maybe I'll just stop this. Okay. So yeah, it is now ready with a comparison. See, it made a table. It has a comparison on availability, on GitHub profile, on the salary expectations, on join immediately, on their graduation year, their experience level, etc., etc. And it also gave me a top pick that you should talk to this guy, because he has a personal portfolio website. In his website, a very good project called Purge AI, and it also has all the context about my company, that we work in AI, we build AI chatbots or AI agent solutions or stuff with OpenClaw, and it will look for stuff like that and help me in make that decision that this guy has this certain project in his resume. This guy was a runner-up in some competition that's relevant to AI and Versal AI SDK. And this guy is expecting too much salary, and maybe we cannot afford that at this stage. So this is also like one of the interesting things. And like this saves me so much time. A couple of years ago when I had to hire, it took me so much time to go through all these people, like all these profiles. And sometimes there would be an unfair decision that gets made by accident. Sometimes I review 500 candidates, and maybe the better candidate was in the other 500 people, which I didn't get to review or talk to. So any custom setup like this is very powerful, and I think it gives everybody a fair chance. And like how candidates are using AI to apply to these jobs, write cover letters, write resume, we can also leverage AI to review all of the stuff that they do. And then the additional verification layer is just talking to them on an interview, and you generally just get a good vibe that maybe what they've written about, they already know about it. Maybe they've just copy pasted some random project from YouTube. You get that vibe by just talking to the person. So this overall is good, very good for the hiring system. And if we were to do a call on Fathom, like Fathom is another like tool that I absolutely love, because it records all my calls. It gives me the script for all my calls. Even back when I was interviewing and I was hiring you guys, I had a call recording with every single one of the candidate, right? And this just generally helps me. I can also put in the script of any call and put that on Claude and have that also as additional context. And then ask it, these are all my calls with my clients. This is my call with you, Abhishek. You can see your face here. There's a call with you, Arnav, as well. Yeah, this is a call with you. This is a call with a bunch of other candidates. And and Fathom also has this chat. I can ask it that based on all the interviews, which candidate seemed the most competent, which candidate seemed the most confident, which candidate was better than the others. I can ask all these questions. It has access to all my calls. And maybe sometimes I talk to so many people that I don't remember stuff. I can ask, in which call did I promise a client that I'm going to do this? Or in which call did I mention that we are working on this, and or which client do I need to follow up with? I may have forgotten to message them about something. So this is all stuff. So again, coming back to my original point, as long as you have the data, Fathom is very good at collecting data, right? Collecting our call recording data, all the text all the things that were said in the call, and also gives me a summary that, in the first 10 minutes you discuss this, in the next 5 minutes you discuss this. This is all the script of the call. So this is all data collection. So the secret to having a very good outcome come out of AI is having a bunch of data. So there's just two parts. One is having very clean and a lot of data. The second part is just feeding all the data and then extracting all the insights you want. As long as you do the step one correct, your step two would work amazingly well. So it's all about context. How much context you have, you can collect. How better do you know yourself, what you're good at, what you're bad at, the better it is at, like helping you out, solving all the problems that you're facing. So yeah, this is for co-work and dispatch. I think we've covered everything here. And yeah, if there's any final set of questions, I'd love to address them. But yeah, I hope this was like a productive session for you guys, and maybe you guys learned a thing or two from here.
Yes. And this also make us fear about our future, like cloud code,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a very fair thing. And honestly, like there is that fear in me also, because I sometimes think that all the things that I do on a day-to-day basis, uh, some version of Claude can, I'm sure, do a better job than me. So there is that. But I still think that we would need humans like ourselves, who are good at using and leveraging these tools to the fullest. So yeah, that feeling is valid of, the fear of getting replaced. But there's a lot of people in this world. There's like 8 billion people on this earth. And where we stand, unless I'm like being extremely delusional here, but we stand in the top 1% still, who are, in terms of, like, who are familiar with all of this. And the 99% of the world doesn't know all of this yet. So I would like to think that I'm ahead of the curve, and I shouldn't be the one worrying. Maybe the other people who are not familiar and who are not using all these tools to their advantage should be the ones that should be worried about this. And people like us are not in danger, we are the danger. And that's the mindset that I would like all of you to have. And yeah, but that feeling is valid. And maybe you are right that we may be replaced in the next few years or next 5 or 10 years. But until then, let's just, like, do what we can, right? Like, there's no point in losing hope. And yeah, just generally have a good time, have fun in whatever you're building, and truly enjoy and have that passion. And yeah, even if all of this gets replaced, it's good. We don't have to now stress about writing code anymore. Maybe we'll do something even more interesting than this. So yeah, just look at the bright side, and maybe that would be a time where, we're just supposed to enjoy and chill, and AI is doing all the work. So yeah, that's how I see it.